Met Gala outfit is what he's been saying about the Browns. Odell's been hyping the team nonstop since getting traded to Cleveland, and now he says he wants to turn the Browns into the new Patriots, and has even started comparing Baker Mayfield to Brett Favre, claiming the quarterback is already on his way to a Hall of Fame career. I don't understand what. Well, I do understand. Odell runs his mouth, and that's what he does.
Yeah.
But I think he's putting too much pressure on the team that just hasn't accomplished enough.
Well, I don't know. We all grew up hearing talk was cheap, right? So how does cheap talk turn into pressure and expectations to a point where you can't live up to them? It's amazing that there are guys who are quiet, and some of those guys are good, and some of those guys are not good. There guys are allowed, some are good, some are not. Tom Brady walked out of the draft, 6th rounder, didn't tell anybody he's going to be the GOAT, became the GOAT. Deion Sanders got drafted, 30 gold chains on, said he's going to be the GOAT, and was the GOAT at his position. So I don't get into the talk category. I think that you are going to be, as Bill Parcells said, what your record says you are. Mm-hmm. You're going to still play the game the same way as long as you put your work in.
Yeah, I think he is bringing pressure to this team, but I think it's intentional. It's intentional because you have a lot of guys on this team, starting with your quarterback in Baker Mayfield, and then moving on to Jarvis Landry, and now Odell Beckham Jr., and the list goes on, of guys who are supremely confident in their not only individual abilities, but collectively in their ability to be better than their opponent. Period. That's what they believe. They don't believe in this record of 95 and 224 and 1 of the Browns' history. They don't care about that.
Right.
They care about what's right now in front of them, and they see an opportunity where they've acquired a roster of personnel that says, you know what, we look pretty good on paper. Let's make it happen.
Okay, so he's off in New York or wherever running his mouth. The people back in Cleveland are going through the voluntary workouts, all the other guys. And the media all runs into the locker room post-practice deal. Hey, what do you think about Odell saying y'all going to be the new Patriots? Baker, what do you think about being compared to Brett Favre? He's creating extra work, extra questions, extra expectations for everybody else. He ain't even there.
Interesting. I mean, like, some guys just like to write checks. And they say, we're going to cash them when we need to. And it's a lot of people out there that believe that this team is going to be special. And what he's doing is, as you said, is that positive pressure, which is football can get distracting at times. You could think it's so much going on. But in simplicity, it's win your one-on-ones. It's beat the guy in front of you. You beat the guy in front of you. You do it. We did it. Then we got some success here, and I think that's what their belief is.
Yeah, and I also think, too, when we first saw and heard of this signing of or this trade happening with Odell Beckham going to Cleveland, the first opinion was, oh, man, he going from New York to Cleveland. So in his mind, he wants to make sure everyone knows, look, I'm all in. I don't care where I'm at. My talents, they transfer to wherever I'm at, and I'm going to produce wherever I'm at.
I'm all in from New York.
I mean, no, he's all in from his personal training. Just because you got a new coaching staff and a new organization and all of that things, you have an extra mini camp. You have an extra opportunity to get hurt, in my opinion. I'm not taking that extra opportunity to injure myself in a time where it don't even matter. So I'll wait. I'll continue to train and customize my workouts to benefit me for the long haul. And that's what he's doing.
You know what's crazy? If Odell went to Cleveland and didn't talk the talk, we'll say, oh, he's in that small market now. Oh, you know what? He's changing because, you know what? He's not really happy where he is.
Yep.
He's suppressing all his emotions. Can't win in that situation.
All right, to Philadelphia, where there was an outrage a few weeks ago after Donovan McNabb said the Eagles might need to move on from Carson Wentz if he can't lead them on a deep playoff run in the next couple of seasons. Well, now McNabb is pushing back against his critics, saying it's not just his job to tell people what they want to hear.
If I'm an analyst and a question is presented to me, I'm supposed to answer it the way I see fit, being truthful, right? It's sometimes when it's certain people, we want to judge it or we want to kind of have a different type of emotional feel to their answer because of who it is, and that's unfair.
Yeah, I think part of his issue here is like he thinks because he's a former Eagle, whatever he says about the Eagle carries an extra weight. I kind of want to start with you, Greg, because you face this with Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. I kind of agree with Donovan. I don't think we should be harshly criticizing him because he gave his opinion on the Eagles.
Not at all. This is the misconception that fans, that even former teammates, co-workers, whatever. If you've had a relationship with someone or you've been a part of an organization, the misconception is that I'm gonna always say the positive about them. I'm not gonna tell you fact. I'm not gonna be honest. I'm not gonna be truthful. And the reality of it is he's just telling his opinion, his truth from his place of experience. It's not some off the wall, what credibility do you have? No, Donovan McNabb has all the credibility in the world to give his factual opinion. And if his truth or my truth doesn't align up with what you believe, so what? So now you're mad at me because I'm giving you an opinion of something that you just want me to agree with you with? No, it's not gonna happen, because if he were talking about the Cowboys, saying this about Dak Prescott, every Eagles fan out there would be like, yeah, tell him, Donovan. But because it's home base, it's touchy because I have a relationship with these guys. No, don't talk about family. Well, whoa, how is family gonna ever grow if I don't really tell you truth?
Preach, man, the truth hurts. And the people closest to you hate the truth because it hurts the most.
It hurts the most.
It's just that simple. And what he's done is what happens in families and friend circles all the time. It's the fact that if you tell them the raw, uncut, dope truth, they gonna take it heavier and harder than anybody else. But let's switch the uniform. If someone outside the family tells you that, now all of a sudden you get the proper response. And to me, that's wrong. McNabb is sophisticated enough to know that that's coming with the territory, but also never muzzle yourself in those moments because you got to tell the truth.
I'll put it as simple as possible. If you have a friend and their breath stinks, and you say, my man, your breath stinks, they gonna be upset like, bro, you gonna just tell me my breath? But if you have that same friend and their breath stinks and you don't tell them and somebody else comes up to, man, what's going on with you? And you've been with them the whole day, they gonna look at you and say, bro, how come you didn't tell me my breath stink?
Yeah.
But when I tell you your breath stink, you have a problem with me telling you. So you want it on your terms. So it's a lose-lose.
The other thing is, I don't even think what he said was all that controversial. It seems pretty obvious.
Yes.
Carson Wentz has had an injury history. And if he doesn't, and Nick Foles has stepped in and done a masterful job, won a Super Bowl, took him on a little bit of a playoff run this past season, if Carson Wentz doesn't produce, there is a problem in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's displaced aggression, psychology 101. You're going to transfer it to, oh, you're bitter. Oh, you got an axe to grind. Oh, that's why they traded you and cut you. Like, we all hear it, but you know what? Donovan, keep being you, man.
Yes.
Keep doing you.
All right, before we go, I'd like to say a few more words on Jalen McKenzie, the junior high football star killed by a stray bullet in East St. Louis late Saturday night. Yesterday, Dallas radio host Ben Rogers reported that Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott, a St. Louis area native, has volunteered to pay for McKenzie's funeral. It's a thoughtful, generous, and kind gesture. It is also now part of the tradition of high-profile black murders. A black celebrity pays for the homegoing. It is the least we can do. But do we owe McKenzie and the thousands of other black boys murdered every year more than a well-financed funeral? The leading cause of death of black men between the ages of 15 and 34 is murder. According to a 2011 CDC study, homicide was the cause of 40% of all deaths among black men between 15 and 34. For white males, the number is less than 4%. Murder is an epidemic disease among young black men. Paying for funerals doesn't mask the symptoms or raise awareness around the crisis. It is not my intention to denigrate Elliott's compassion. I'm asking, are we called upon to do more? We know, had McKenzie been slain by a white police officer, half the NFL and all of the NBA would have been outfitted in Shoe Company and Colin Kaepernick-approved T-shirts decrying racial injustice. Every rapper in America would be locked in a studio thinking of words that rhyme with McKenzie. We would make Jalen McKenzie as famous as Michael Brown, the Black Lives Matter icon from Ferguson, Missouri. We would use McKenzie as a symbol of an injustice we would no longer tolerate. We would be invited on every TV talk show possible and be granted the opportunity by a white host to express our outrage and smugly proclaim white America isn't comfortable with this conversation. We would engage in a week-long national discussion about a toxic culture within our police departments, and everyone would be asked for ideas on how to make policing our humanity. But since McKenzie is just another black boy from the hood gunned down by his own, we'll generously pay for his funeral and keep moving. There's nothing to see here. There's no toxic culture that profits from celebrities and celebrates and promotes black violence and self-hate. We don't struggle to see our own humanity. That's all crazy talk. Don't you know, my shoe company told me to lean in and put on this equality t-shirt.